if we have time.
Alex Simon with Bay Area News Group. I would love to just get your guys' opinions on these hats that you guys are wearing. I know that they're giveaways here, but it seems like you guys are enjoying having them on quite a bit.
They're double features. You can go Southern style, or you can go just plain old bucket hat. So it's like a two-way feature there. It's really nice. Yeah.
Obviously, you guys have been at this stage before, but just what does it mean to get back here, especially after a season where you guys didn't win the conference, where you obviously could get there, but it shows that the committee thought you guys were good enough to even be worthy of being here without a conference title?
I think personally, I'm just very grateful. I know everyone, wants to go to the big dance, and very grateful that, even though fortunately we didn't win the conference, but I think we played a pretty good schedule and just proved ourselves to be at this level. And so, again, grateful, excited, and just ready to go.
For both players, how have practices gone? It's been a week and a half. You guys have had, 2 games in 2 weeks, maybe, or if that? And what's that been like? Back to full strength now and getting ready for this moment?
Yeah, I think there's been a lot better focus this past week, especially, and just fine-tuning some things. And like you said, we're back to full strength. So it kind of means figuring out our team and the dynamics with the full roster. And it's kind of shown that we have some depth, and it's really cool to have players with experience throughout this whole season and our whole team. I think because we were so short numbered, we've had players that have been able to play. Almost everyone's able to play like heavy minutes, so they have that experience. So I think we have a lot of depth to bring to this game coming up.
And speaking of heavy minutes, you guys are both logging mid-30s during a big stretch of that. Is this like hitting the reset button a little bit, refresh, and feeling a little better going into this?
Yes, I think so. And then just knowing that people are back and we have a full roster again, so close to a full roster, and so I'm just excited, honestly.
Take us back to December. You guys both took the court against Stanford, 7 players. Obviously, that was a tough game, but how does this feel a little different? Not just with the numbers, but the feeling of, hey, we've got this is the big moment.
Well, I think we're not really focused on Stanford right now. We're focused
but
on
being back here.
Oh, yeah. I think it's cool because it's good because we already have played on this court before. So, I guess half of us, because everyone was hurt. But we have experience on this court. We kind of know the feel of it. And I think our whole team's really hungry. We're not just happy to be here and just like, yeah, we got an at-large bid. Good for us. We want to show who we are. I think we have the potential to go pretty far.
Hi, ladies. I'll see you in practice in just a minute. Brooke with ESPN, Brooke Weisbrod. Knowing that you have gone through so many injuries and now, you kind of have this team that's coming back together at the right time. How dangerous is that? Because you think about a lot of teams that are tired by the end of this time, and now you guys seem to be kind of gelling at the right time.
Yeah, and again, it's like with the 2 games, 2 weeks, I think we've had enough rest as a whole team, and just starting to prep for Ole Miss and having players that haven't played much of the season come back. It's fresh legs, and then they bring the energy, so then we feed off that energy. And I think we're ready to go. We're just all hungry to get far in this tournament.
All week we've heard a lot about their defense against your 3-point shooting, but talk about the other end of this matchup that no one's talking about is your defense against their offense, and what do they bring?
Yeah, so they're a very talented group. We've watched a lot of film on them. Obviously, they're super athletic. They're very tough. They got that SEC physicality to them. And I think, but I don't think they've seen a team like us yet this season. And flip-flop, I don't think we've seen many teams like them this season as well. So it'll be a fun matchup. We've studied them a lot. We think we know some of their tendencies. And we just got to dial in for this one more practice before we play them. But yeah, they're a great team.
Is there another team and experience that you could describe the physicality that might have prepared you for this?
I would say probably like the earlier teams that we played, like Louisville, probably Tennessee. I got to watch their game against Tennessee, and so got to match their physicality again, and then match their energy and bring, execute on offense and defend their tendencies.
I would actually love to hear you both talk about the other person's form as a 3-point shooter, since you guys both shoot at such a high volume. Just what, if you were scouting each other, what would you see as as a 3-point shooter about each other?
Well, I'm not
I-
going to give away Lynn's scouting report
Well, I
to,
already know what
to the
she-
public. But I will tell you what she's great at. I think she's one of the best players who can, she plays at her own pace. She doesn't let anyone rush her. It's really hard to speed her up. And when she gets in that zone and just be able to play at her speed, she's really dangerous and she can get that shot off anywhere on the court, 3-level scorer. And I mean, she can go either way. It's a pretty hard scout. You can list all the things you want to about her, but in the end, you have to guard her, and that's a pretty hard matchup.
Brenna's just too nice. She's just too nice, way too nice. But I would say about Brenna, and I'm still in awe, like during warm-ups, during practice, just how quick her release is. I know some of our practice guys back home, that every time she like shoots it and they're very close to her like this, she gets it off in time and just, splashes it. So my reaction is probably the same as everyone else's in the crowd. Her shot's so quick. You gotta be so much closer than you think.
Take one from up here. Out of the players not up here on the podium, who should we watch out for tomorrow?
I would say everyone, but Vaughn, I think she's a sleeper. She's undersized, but she's very strong. Her strength makes up for it.
I would also say Michaela Williams. She just has that tenacity that you can't really teach, and she's always she just wants to win. She's really hungry. She's scared of nobody. You can say you have to guard this person, you got to go against this person, and she won't blink an eye. She'll be like, okay, and she'll get the job done.
And then you're one of the winningest teams nationally, only 4 losses all year, and 2 of them came very early in the season, but you're coming off of one. So what's your mentality? How do you come off of a loss, or is that now so long ago that you don't even feel that?
I would just say that I need to move on, and then just get my mind right for, again, the big dance. The loss does seem a while ago, so it's in the back of my head now, and I'm just so excited and ready. Like I need to play another game. I'm ready to play.
Any more questions for the student athletes? Thank you so much, Brenna and Caitlin. Good luck tomorrow.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks, y'all.
We'll now take a short break and be back with Gonzaga head coach Lisa Fortier. As a reminder, please silence all cell phones. Welcome to today's press conference for the Gonzaga Bulldogs head coach, Lisa Fortier. Gonzaga's sports information director is Grace Whiteley. We'll now take questions for Coach Fortier. As a reminder, please state your name and affiliation at the beginning of each question. If you're on the Zoom call and have a question, please use the raise hand function, and I will call on you if we have time for your questions.
Jim Allen, Spokesman Review, Spokane. Hi, Lisa. How have practices been going since a week and a half ago in your last game?
Pretty good. We've been getting after each other. It's a long time to practice. You know, I think we were saying that between prep for the WCC tournament and prep for the NCAA tournament, we've had more practices in the last 2.5 weeks than we had for the last 2.5 months, kind of with just the way that the season goes. So lots of practice against each other, lots of getting after each other, trying to get better and high energy. I think our team is trying to stay focused and doing a pretty good job of it. And, you know, competing, we've had a lot of competitive practices, which is fun. Usually we're practicing more against our scout team and they're all on spring break. So we've just been getting after each other, and it's kind of like the beginning of the season. It's a lot of fun as long as you can keep it focused on the task at hand, which I think we've done a pretty good job of.
There's been a lot of talk about your 3-point shooting against their defense, but what's this game going to shape up with their having the ball?
Oh, I mean, they're great offensive attackers. I mean, they're a slashing team that they've got, of course, got players who can shoot the ball well. I think when they have the ball, you know, they're looking for whatever good shot, great mid-range jump shooters. They're great at getting to the rim. I think maybe the best thing they do offensively is offensive rebound. So there's a lot of things that they don't necessarily shoot as many threes as we do, although they've got some who do that. I think it's going to be, you know, us trying to keep them out of the paint, keep them off the glass, and do what we normally do, which is try to defend as a team. We rarely say, you know, Vonnie or KK or Kaylee, you need to shut down so-and-so. It's always that we're going to do it as a team whenever we play great players. So, you know, they've got some pretty talented and athletic offensive players, and we're going to just try to stop them as a group.
Alex, I'm in Bay Area News Group. There's not many teams that shoot as many threes as you guys do in the country in that way. When you have the quality of 3-point shooters you have between the Chongs, Brenna, how difficult is it when you can basically have 2, sometimes 3 of them on the floor at the same time for a defense to have to game plan against?
Well, hopefully it's really difficult. I don't know if that's the case or not, but you know, the more versatile, offensively skilled players you have on the floor, of course, the more challenging it is for the defense. And you know, I think we can shoot it, but what we do better than even that, I think, is we share the ball and we work together. There is not a player in our locker room who is thinking that they need to get all the shots. They might take them all in a particular night, but they're not thinking that that's their goal. You know, they're just thinking what's the best thing for our team right now. And so that's what we're hoping to be able to maximize is maybe one particular player gets a bunch of them and they're ready to knock them down, but maybe it's just everybody gets a few. So sharing the ball, I think, is even as more important maybe than the way that we have potential to shoot it.
The guard for Ole Miss, Angel Baker, all SEC first team, just fills the stat sheet. What's your scout on her, and how do you hope to limit her a little bit?
Yeah, I mean, she's really good and she can score it from all 3 levels, which is a challenge. You like to defend players who are more limited than she is, and she's just not, is the reality of it. And so, you know, like I mentioned already, we're going to put whoever we think is the best matchup available. If switching happens, it could be any of us, though. It could be that you see Michaela on her. It could be that you see Vonnie on her. Eliza could have her. Brenna could have her, just because of the way they run their offense and how we transition on defense. And so just, I would say, applying the proper amount of pressure and then not leaving anybody out on an island, trying to be in the good positioning. This time of year, you can't rely on them making mistakes. Teams don't do that. So you have to be your best. And so we're going to just rely on our offense being where our defense being where they're supposed to be when they're supposed to be there, with their hands up, and us being ready to energetically scramble around and try to make it difficult for her.
Hey, Coach, Brooke Weisberg with ESPN. Just something you said about creating new competition in practices, especially with your scout team being on spring break. It's kind of just something in your eye that I feel like somebody surprised you during that time, or what kind of came out of that, seeing them compete against each other these last 2 weeks?
Well, I think we spend so much time in game planning, you know what I mean? And you're in game prep. And so you have one day that sometimes we call it competition Monday, but it doesn't feel quite the same because we're just trying to rest their legs or you're trying to do whatever. And I wouldn't say that any one person stuck out to me. I think that Michaela Williams and Brenna Maxwell are extremely competitive, and they will cheat, steal, fight. They will do whatever needs to happen to try to win a particular drill. And we haven't seen as much of that lately. You know, the Trongs and Bonnie, you know, they compete as well, but those guys do stand out every time we do anything new on the court or one-on-one or two-on-two or against ourselves, also for playing heads up or catchphrase or spike ball. You know, those are the guys who show up and they want to compete in everything. And that was evident over the last couple of weeks.
Alex Simon from Bay Area News Group again. Usually when you guys get here, you've won your conference tournament to get here. Obviously, by losing in the last game, it says a good thing that the committee thought you guys were highly regarded enough to get an at-large. Have you seen a different focus from the team coming off of a loss into here? And then if you could also just speak to what it means that there are two West Coast Conference teams in March Madness.
Yeah, I would say the team, I think we're very aware of what we didn't do well in the last game that we played at the conference tournament. And some of those things are areas that we've been working on all season. Some of them were kind of out of character for us and wasn't necessarily a theme that we've seen. But I do think that we're focused on, I don't know, I think that only the teams that lose say, it's great that you lost. You know what I mean? No team that wins is saying, bummer. It's too bad that we won that game. You know what I mean? No one wants that. But we're trying to make the most of it. We're trying to apply it in whatever ways we can. And as far as the two bid conference situation, that's kind of been what we have been. We've been the last few years, we've been at least two teams, or I guess not at least, there's not been three, but we've been two. It's nice to see someone other than BYU because it's most often been us and BYU who've been in it. And, you know, Portland's a really good team as well. I think that our conference was in 6 or 7, maybe in the RPI or net this year. And so our conference is tough. It's not as recognized nationally, but I'm excited to be one of two. And hopefully we'll continue to do that and build on other teams getting at large bids as well.
And I would especially imagine knowing BYU's leading the conference after this year, is that kind of a sign of what you would hope would be good things to come for the conference writ large, that it's a team not named BYU that's going with you guys?
Yeah. I mean, obviously we got to figure it out. Conference realignment is a real thing right now. And until someone else comes in or something else changes and it moves around for the West Coast Conference, that's what we've got. And Portland was right behind us all year until towards the end a little bit. There's a little bit of separation as far as the second place team, and we were tied for first for a long time. And so I think that that's been BYU for the last several years, or most of them. And so I think Portland is very good as well. They're talented, they're deep, they've recruited well, they run tough stuff. So I would like to see, again, I would like to see all of them. I would love for us to have 3 next time and 4 the following time, but it's a process that takes time. And hopefully we're getting closer to that.
AJ Howick, HQ, you were forced to lengthen your rotation pretty early on in the season due to injury. It's obviously unfortunate, but I mean, how helpful is that to you during this time that some of those younger ladies got their time on the court?
Well, it definitely gives us a sense of these other players who would not have maybe gotten as many minutes or might not be getting as many right now. They've still played in big games. They all played against Stanford. And we played Stanford with 7 people down here in the beginning of December, I think it was, or end of November. And so Destiny Burton started that game. Peyton Muma and Esther Little played 20 plus minutes in that game. We played that one without Kaylee, Mout, Eliza, and Callie Stokes. So, I mean, that could be a starting lineup at different times, those 4, and you add someone else in there. So I think that it's valuable experience they've gotten in good big games. I think the first time we played without Kaylee was against Marquette. In that game, it came down to the wire, and then we played most of Tennessee without her as well. So I just think that all of those different things, Stephen F. Austin, we played with 8. All of those things have helped us be prepared for going forward and just the options that we have. You don't look at the bench and worry about who you're going to put in. You're looking at the bench and trying to figure out which one would be most effective right now versus I can't play that player, or they're not ready, or they're not experienced, because they all have that experience.
How will you treat being the second game? Is that a hard thing? Will you watch some of the first game? Will we have your players do?
I don't know. I haven't thought that far ahead. My coaches, I think, usually come and watch. I'll probably hang back with the team. We might watch part of it. You know, if we can win the first game, then we're familiar with one of the opponents in the second game and unfamiliar with the other. So I don't know yet. I guess we should think about that.
And then Coach McPhee-McEwen mentioned that you two had overlapped a little bit as assistants in the WCC way back. Do you remember her at all? And if so, any memories of her back as a young assistant? And I think it was 2008 with Portland.
Yeah. So it seemed like it was a few years. I don't remember how long it was, but I did tell the team we were assistants together back when she was at Portland. And she seems different now. She was, I don't know how long she had been an assistant at the Division I level when she was at Portland, but we certainly, our paths crossed and we developed a friendship back then that's continued. I would call her a friend now, follow each other, moms and coaching and just trying to do it in a way that's different. I think we have different methods, but also just a little bit unique and, trying to do it the right way, whatever that means, without cheating, stealing. And I have a lot of respect for her and what she's done. And also assistant coach at the WCC, who's now just worked her way up. She's done a good job everywhere she's been. And so I think that there's a lot of mutual respect for the two of us.
Any more questions for Coach Portier? Thank you, Coach, and good luck tomorrow.
Thank you.